Cartoon Obsession. Hello everybody, my name is Nathan, and I am the man with a cartoon obsession. We're in the month of December now, which means to the holiday season. However, that also means we're at the end of the year, and in this case, the end of a decade. So I figured I'd put together a couple of decade-ending top 10 lists. I'm only doing 2 because I felt like I was overwhelming myself trying to do more than that, and I have other projects outside of Cartoon Obsession, so I figured this would work the best. Don't worry though, because these are both going to be good lists. At least I think so, and I hope you all do too. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite anime of this past decade. Now keep in mind these are my choices. If you disagree with any of them, that's perfectly fine. And of course I can't get to everything, so if you don't see a particular anime mentioned here, it means I either haven't seen it, or it just didn't make the cut. Now that I got all that out of the way, let's count down my top 10 favorite anime of the 2010s. Number 10. No Game No Life. I'm a sucker for things that are colorful, well, as long as they look good, and No Game No Life looks great. It's a beautifully drawn and animated series about Brother Sora and Sister Shiro, who are undefeated gamers and get transported to Disboard, a world in which all conflicts are settled by playing a game. This is a premise that leads to so many possibilities, and they explore quite a few of them. I think it's a little on the short side, and I would have loved it if they explored more of the world, so I hope we get another season of No Game No Life in the future. But for now, it makes the number 10 spot on this list, which is still a victory.
Wow! I want you to love me! Huh? To love me! To love me!
Number 9. Good Luck Girl. If you're a fan of both comedy and drama, I think Good Luck Girl is an anime worth checking out. It is a little inconsistent, but it has so many interesting, funny, and likable characters that it doesn't really bother me all that much. I honestly see a lot of myself in Ichigo, the protagonist. She acts the way I act when faced with certain situations and when it comes to dealing with people as well. I guess that could just be my bias showing, but there are other likable characters too, like Momiji and of course my main man Bobby. Plus, this show is just chock full of great comedic moments and some compelling dramatic ones as well. It's the best of both worlds.
Ready, set, tits!
Number 8. Watamote. No matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. I mentioned personal bias before when it comes to a character, and I'm going to do it again because Tomoko is also a character I can somewhat relate to. She's very timid and cynical, but all she really wants is to become popular. This series shows her trying a lot of different methods to try and fit in amongst her peers, and it leads to a lot of funny moments. There's also a bit of inappropriate humor in this show. To be fair, that's pretty much par for the course as far as anime goes, but it stands out to me here. There's nothing too bad though, so if you're a bit sensitive to that sort of thing, I still recommend it, but it's your call. Don't sleep on Watamote though.
Sexy.
Number 7. Interviews with Monster Girls. I found myself watching a lot of slice of life anime over the past couple years, and this is one that really stood out to me. I watched it twice within the span of only a couple months because I really wanted to grasp it. I think it's really cool to see these 3 abnormal girls, well, 4 if you count the teacher who's a succubus, interact with not only each other, but with Mr. Takahashi, the biology teacher who wants to do research on these monster girls, and in doing so helps them feel not so out of place amongst regular people. This show has a very sweet nature to it, and while Takahashi's methods may seem a little odd at times, you can tell he genuinely cares about these students. Overall, it's a very fun and lighthearted show with interesting and likable characters, and besides, how many anime have a succubus, a vampire, a Doulahan, and a snow woman in the main cast?
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I'm great. What's wrong, Machi? Son of a...
Number 6. Angel Beats. I mentioned the blending between drama and comedy in Good Luck Girl earlier in this video. Well, take that and ramp it up quite a bit because Angel Beats will leave you in tears, both from laughing so hard and for kidney punching you right in the heart with some of these backstories and the ending. but I'm not going to talk about that in case you haven't seen it. There are a lot of characters in this show, and for the most part, they each feel like they serve a purpose, even though some seem more important than others, but we wouldn't have a main cast without the supporting cast anyway. This is a very interesting take on what Limbo is like, and I feel like it's one of those shows that gets better each time you watch it.
It's not the policy of what the hell's our name now?
Barnacle Battlefront.
Oh yeah, the Barnacle Battle.
Oh,
That's it, it's going back to the Underworld Battlefront.
that was a nice kick.
Number 5. A Maki Brilliant Park. Colorful character designs, fantastic humor, interesting magical elements, a trigger-happy stone-faced girl, and the fact that this anime takes place in essentially its own version of Disney World. A Maki Brilliant Park is an extremely fun watch. It really makes you feel like you're in the theme park and seeing all the mascots and the attractions. I like the behind-the-scenes stuff they do too about running the park and trying to keep it from going under. It's a very interesting and entertaining series. Perfect fun for the whole family.
Now let's get a move on! I think it just mofed up.
Number 4. Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma. I'm not gonna lie, a part of me went into this show thinking I was going to hate it because I knew how ridiculous the premise was. Little did I know that it was because of that ridiculousness that I ended up loving it. I have eaten plenty of food that I thought was fantastic, but I've never thought of food being literally orgasmic before I watched this show. I'm kind of picky when it comes to ecchi stuff, and while I think it can be a bit excessive, that's almost a non-issue because of how ridiculous the characters' reactions are to what they're eating. I also like the fact that they'll occasionally throw in reactions to bad food instead of just showing heavenly reactions all the time. I don't know how accurate all the cooking information they provide is, but in all honesty, I don't really care. It sounds convincing enough for me to believe it, and the food looks great. If you're looking for a slightly raunchy but visually appealing and incredibly entertaining shonen cooking anime, Food Wars is the show for you. Bon appetit.
Don't be like that. You sounded like you enjoyed it.
What? Oh my god, do not listen to a word he says! Get out of here! Just go away and take your stupid bath!
All right, fine. I'm gonna give myself a squeak, clean, splash, splash.
Number 3. My Roommate is a Cat. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say this is the most wholesome anime you will ever watch. I was not expecting an anime that came out earlier this year to be in my top 3 anime of the entire decade, but I just could not resist putting My Roommate is a Cat this high up on the list. Subaru Mikazuki, the main character, who is an introverted writer, gets so much development throughout this series, and the relationship that he builds with the stray cat he finds and names Haru is really something special. I'm not even kidding when I say that I cried at just about every episode for one reason or another. It's just a really touching show. One other thing I like about it is the fact that it splits the episodes up so you get the perspective of both Subaru and Haru, which is a nice touch. If you're a fan of touching slice of life stories, and of course cats, I highly recommend this series.
What? Where's the food?
Number 2. The Devil is a Part-Timer. I never thought that I'd enjoy an anime about Satan working at a fast food restaurant. Then again, I never even thought about the possibility of that concept. However, I think it was executed very well, and this is a top-notch comedy anime. From Mao to Ashia to Emi, there are so many great characters and non-stop humor. I can't really think of a single main character that I don't enjoy, and there are some really good supporting characters as well. It's a nice shonen anime that doesn't really offer a lot of action, but it does offer plenty of enjoyment and entertainment. You'll definitely get your fill of fun with The Devil is a Part-Timer.
You propose we eat burgers and fries 3 times a day until you get paid? What is this, supersize me? You plan to eat a high-calorie, high-cholesterol diet at such a young age? I'm looking forward to the next 10 years, but now I'll have to hope you don't die prematurely of a lifestyle-related illness before we get home. I must apologize to my cowardice. However, you're the one working and fighting our time. You help people out by constant diligence and help me.
Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at some quick honorable mentions. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Bizarre is indeed a good word to describe JoJo. I've enjoyed every part of the anime so far, and I'm looking forward to see the rest of the adaptations in the coming years. Kill la Kill. I don't enjoy Kill la Kill for the reasons people are probably thinking, but it doesn't exactly hurt its score either. It has a compelling story, over-the-top fights, and humor, and how can you not like some of these characters? One Punch Man. I'm going to be completely honest, I was ready to put One Punch Man on this list, and it would have made it if Season 2 wasn't such a disappointment. Here's hoping that it'll pick up again in Season 3. Parasite, the Maxim. This is a really good sci-fi psychological horror series. There's a good amount of gore and it can be a little preachy at times, so if that's not your thing, you might want to avoid Parasite. Otherwise, I think it's a great show. Fire Force. I'm a huge Soul Eater fan, so I was looking forward to Fire Force, and so far, it's really interesting. You can draw some comparisons to Soul Eater, but make no mistake about it, Fire Force is its own thing, and it's great. Now that I got those out of the way, let's find out what my favorite anime of the decade is. Number 1. My Hero Academia. I can be a sucker for shonen anime, not all of them, but a fair amount of them. However, a lot of them have the same tropes and do things the same way. My Hero Academia does things a little differently. Izuku Midoriya, or Deku, doesn't start off as this standard, overpowered protagonist. As a matter of fact, he starts off as an average teenager, and the series does a fantastic job at developing just about everything about him, from his personality to his abilities to even his fighting style. All Might gets a great amount of development too, through teaching Midoriya and the rest of the students at UA High, as well as his battles with villains. There are also a few other characters who get development, and there are so many wonderful characters from the pro heroes to the students to even the villains. The stories are compelling, the action is phenomenal, and they just keep expanding on everything and making it that much more entertaining. The best part is the series is still going, so who knows where it'll go in the future. I'm very selective when it comes to superhero stuff, but I just can't get enough of My Hero Academia, and that's why it's my favorite anime of the 2010s. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you didn't see any of your favorite anime of this decade on the list, feel free to let me know some of your favorites in the comments. Be sure to stay tuned because the next video will be my top 10 favorite cartoons of the 2010s. I'm very excited for that list and I hope you guys are too. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to check out my social media pages, audition for an outro, and join the official Cartoon Obsession Discord, the links for all of which are in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm Bakugo from My Hero Academia, and thank you for watching Cartoon Obsessions. Is that fine, Deku? Is that what you wanted?